everybody, and welcome to my review of Wonder Woman. I love that music. Oh, okay, so Wonder Woman, the latest installment of the DC Cinematic Universe. So, the basic plot of Wonder Woman is that it basically centers around this woman named Diana. She was born and bred on this Amazonian island, and one day Chris Pine's character comes in from World War One, and he washes up on her beach. They interrogate him and they ask him where he's from and stuff, and then she believes that what's causing World War One is the god Ares, the god of war. So she vows to go and help him fight the war when she doesn't really know what she's doing. And from then on, she has to learn that, that sometimes it's not all that she seems. That's pretty much the plot of Wonder Woman. Okay, Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not, or never have been, the biggest fan of the DC Cinematic Universe. I just feel that all of the films so far up to this point had been very boring, mediocre, didn't offer anything, and suffered under the direction of Zack Snyder. Although Suicide Squad was directed by David Ayer, but anyway, he admitted that he would do things again. So, yeah, I just haven't really found them very interesting. I mean, Man of Steel I thought was rubbish. Batman vs Superman was better. It was okay, and then Suicide Squad was fun. I wouldn't watch it again. So I was very skeptical going into this movie, and I have to say, I was absolutely blown away. This just shows what DC can do if they put their minds to it. This is a fantastic film. I absolutely loved this movie, and I am not a DC fan, and I loved it. I thought, wow, this is absolutely brilliant, and I think it's going to be an absolute game changer because, for one thing, it's directed by a female named Patty Jenkins and is also starring Gal Gadot in the main role. And this is a female-led superhero movie, and this will hopefully change not just the superhero movies, but the industry itself. Having more females direct films, having more females in the roles. It's not to say men can't do that, but it's nice to have a change, and I think this is a welcome change. I really like the story. I think the story is very interesting. The only thing I don't really get about the story is how the hell, the other side of the island leads to World War One. That wasn't really explained. But other than that, the story is fantastic, and you really invest in Diana. Diana as a character, she is absolutely fantastic. She's not like... people criticised Rey in The Force Awakens being a Mary Sue, in that she's so good at everything. Whereas this time, Diana, she's not that at all. Well, she is a fantastic warrior. She's an exceptional warrior, but she's very naive. She doesn't understand how the world works. The real world, that is, of course. Obviously, understandably so, because she's been growing up somewhere else. She's been trained to believe that it's her destiny to defeat God Ares, which it is, but... So I like that sense of the relationship between her and Chris Pine, because he's trying to help her understand the real world. And, she really learns some emotionally valuable lessons along the way, and that was something I did not expect. I didn't expect to be as emotionally invested in this movie as I was. I'm definitely going to see this movie again, because I think it warrants a second viewing. And Chris Pine, he's fantastic. He's absolutely brilliant in his role. Of what's his name, Steve Trevor. What I like about Chris Pine is that he sort of throws himself into the roles. Like, he plays James T. Kirk in Star Trek, in the new Star Trek reboot trilogy. So I've seen him from that, and I really like how he throws himself into his roles, and in this one there's no exception. He's a man on a mission. He's a spy, and the sort of relationship that develops between him and Wonder Woman is kind of nice, I guess. It was very sweet towards the end, anyway. I didn't really believe the romance at first. I thought it was a bit forced, but towards the end, you do believe it. Gal Gadot owns this role as Diana. She owns the role. I mean, I wasn't really convinced in Batman vs Superman. People were giving her this loads of praise, but I thought, well, okay, but she's in the movie for about 10 minutes, if that. So I didn't really have any opinion on her as Wonder Woman. I just thought she was just something that was there in BVS. But, you know, whatever. But this movie proves to me that she is more than capable of playing this role. And she's fantastic. She puts on a sort of accent. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's sort of French. That's what it sounds like to me. If anyone can confirm what that is, then just let me know in the comments below. But again, she also throws herself into this role as well, and she kicks ass in the action sequences. She really does. There's basically, this movie feels a bit like two films in one. The first act of the movie is set on the island where she grows up and she trains as a warrior. That's all very interesting. And then we go into World War One, and it becomes this intriguing thriller about trying to stop the Germans and stuff, and stop Ludendorff and his assistants from poisoning people with the gas. Yeah. If I had to point out the weak people in this film, it's probably the villains. They're okay, but you know, they're good enough, but they're just not really that memorable. Like Danny Huston plays Ludendorff. He puts on a German accent, and it really doesn't sound authentic. It's very slippy. I mean, he's just kind of there. Like, I don't know what else to say. He's there. And then you've got who is it? Who is it that plays? Yeah, Elena Anaya as Dr. Maru, or Dr. Poison, as they call her in the film. She's quite cool. She's got like a bit of a Phantom of the Opera look going on about her. She's got this sort of weird mask that's half across her face, and she's a bit psychologically disturbed. So they make a decent pair of villains, but they're nothing memorable. They're a bit forgettable, to be honest. I also like David Thewlis. David Thewlis is in this movie. He's also known for Harry Potter as Professor Lupin. He plays a good role in this movie, and he's very good, especially towards the end of the movie. He's very good. I can't say more than that, otherwise spoilers would be given away. I will not give any spoilers away. There are some genuinely heartfelt moments here in this movie, particularly when Diana's in World War One, and they go to the no man's land, and she sees, you know, all these people suffering. The film kind of slows down, like there's the slow motion, and then she's seeing everything happening. She's seeing people suffering and dying as well, and you know, it's genuinely heartbreaking to watch. You feel the pain. You really do feel the pain of these emotional deaths, but you also feel the kick-assery of the action sequences. The action in this movie is awesome. This is some of the best action I've seen for ages in a superhero movie. You know, and just when that theme kicks in as well, the dun-dun-dun-dun, it's just absolutely fantastic. And you know, I was genuinely surprised how much I was enjoying it. It was so much fun. The movie's very long. It's 2 hours 20 minutes, but I think, you know, and there is a sufficient amount of exposition and world building, particularly in the first act. It's a bit of a slow burner. It does take its time, but I think it benefits from that, actually, because you really understand the character. It's a character study more than an action set piece, and when the action set pieces hit, they're great. There's one particular one which really stuck out to me when she decides to cross to the other side of no man's land, and she's just walking. She's moving the armor on her hands to dodge the bullets. It's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And the finale as well is epic. Just when you think the finale is going to end, I thought, oh, you know, that's a cop out. Like, just when I thought it was going to end, but then thankfully there was a nice twist, which I didn't see coming. I was like, oh, okay, another interesting reveal, and then which led to another huge fight. And there's a nice message with this film. It's not what you know, it's what you believe. It's not what you do, it's what you believe. And I think that's a really good message, because, you know, people should stand up for what they believe in, and too very often people are belittled and overpowered by that. The fact that they're forced in their beliefs. You know, she was very set in her ways in the beginning of the movie, and now she's become a lot more open. She's sort of, it's almost a coming of age story, really. She's really sort of, having been in the real world, she's got to grips and seen what it's like. She's seen death, she's seen violence, she's seen destruction, she's seen the lot. She's also seen how wonderful it can be as well, in her relationship with Chris Pine. The ending of the movie is emotionally hard-hitting. I was so surprised how much I was invested in this. It is surprisingly heartbreaking, the very end of the movie. And I thought, this is DC. They've never been this good before. This is the best, like, DC movie since The Dark Knight Rises. I know The Dark Knight Rises isn't part of the DCU, but still, you know, it's got DC's name on it. Yeah, I mean, I was just in shock at how good it was. The visuals are good. I don't think the CGI is as best as it could be, but it's good enough. It'll do. There are some obvious green screen shots which did bother me a little bit, but I got over it. So, you know, it's not a huge problem. And also, there's another character in this movie called Etta. She's like Chris Pine's secretary. I don't really know why she was in there, other than comic relief, obviously. She's there to say a few one-liners, but she's only in a couple of scenes, so you could have just taken her out of the movie. It wouldn't have made much difference. And I also like the very beginning of the movie, seeing young Diana, and seeing her want to train, want to be a warrior, want to fight. She's very patriotic, very passionate about her cause, and, you know, it's nice to sort of, when you have the quieter moments with her and Chris Pine, it's nice to see her sort of get an understanding for how people are in the real world. And, you know, because she's been very secluded all her life, and she's been in a world without men. And there's a kind of a nice funny joke that she was made out of clay, because this film kind of obviously harks back to some Greek mythology with the idea of Zeus and, you know, Ares and Hippolyta and all the gods and goddesses, you know. So there's a nice, interesting lore with this movie. And, you know, I gotta hand it to Patty Jenkins. She was the director. She did a superb job. She understood. And it's nice to not have a movie directed by Zack Snyder for a change. Even though Suicide Squad was done by David Ayer. But it's nice to have a change. And, you know, I just thought, yes, it's been a long ride, but I thought I never got less than my money's worth. The movie's brilliantly designed. The World War I set pieces especially. When you go back into World War I, especially the bar, that's done really well. And then, you know, when they go to this sort of party and she's got the sword in the back of her dress and then she's dancing with Ludendorff. That was quite a tense scene. I was just completely hooked all the way. I mean, just fantastic. And there's very little, from what I know, there's very little tie-ins to other DC movies. I mean, there's a brief tie-in to you know, a certain film, or a certain person from a certain film. Yeah, and I like the way the story is told, how, you know, she has the picture at the very beginning, and then we go into the picture, so we go back into the past. Does she not age? I guess, well, because she's made out of clay, maybe that's why. I wonder what it was like to kiss her. It probably would have felt a bit like clay. But anyway, sorry, that's another conversation for another time. It is beautifully shot. The cinematography is brilliant. It feels like a sort of nice period movie. I mean, if you remember Captain America: The First Avenger, not a particularly great film, but it was all set in World War One. So it kind of reminded me of that. I mean, this is way better than that, absolutely. At the end of the day, guys, this is a fantastic film. There's a great action set piece on the island as well, and there's a little mini battle. And, you know, I love the design, I love the production design, like, especially with the no man's land, you know, with the front, the war front, and obviously the island as well. There's a lot of, obviously, like to Greek mythology. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And the supporting characters, one of them is called Charlie. He's funny. Samir, and then the other one's the chief. They're all right. They're quite nice characters. It's nice to see them in it, and I enjoyed them for their like relief. And again, the action is just so good. Maybe they do overuse the slow motion just a little bit, but it actually didn't bother me too much as Zack Snyder did in 300. You know, I mean, there is some fast-moving action as well, and it's interesting. It has some life lessons as well. You know, is that, you know, to not be so naive, and I think that's the brilliance of the character, is that she's naive and she doesn't understand how the world works until the very end. And I liked her character arc. I thought it was very good. At the end of the day, this movie's fucking awesome, and I'm gonna definitely go and see it again. So, I would rate Wonder Woman an easy 10 out of 10. It's got a couple of minor flaws, but you know what? By the end, I thought, you know what? This is actually a really perfect movie. Other than the villains are really sort of the only thing that could have been done better. Although the end of the movie does make up for it. That'll be the twist. I can't reveal what that is. But its heart was truly in the right place. It was a really great journey for the character, and overall, just a fantastic movie. And it's definitely, for me, this and Logan are the new great superhero movies of this year. They've each brought something new to the table. I'd probably say I prefer Logan just because I'm more of an X-Men fan, and I'm more of a Wolverine fan, and that was Hugh Jackman's final one. But this is easily the best film of the DC cinematic universe thus far. And I'm actually kind of a bit more excited for Justice League now. I wasn't too fussed about it before, but now, after seeing this, I've got high hopes. I hope that it's at least good. I'm not expecting a masterpiece, but just something that's decent at least. Ugh, otherwise we'll be in trouble. So, that's it, guys. That's my review of Wonder Woman. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Put your comments down below and let me know. And, yeah, Gal Gadot, well done. Patty Jenkins, well done. God bless you all. I'm going to go and watch your movie again. So, thank you guys all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See ya.